Welcome back. Festive outfits, or I know I'm a little bit early, but we probably want to make sure we get a show with a little bit of Halloween spirit before we get there next weekend. Although I probably would argue that Halloween is in full force with some of the best players on bye this week, including Diggs, Cup, and Jefferson. That's a lot of firepower. But don't worry. We're just going to talk about a little bit about Thursday night's game last night, go into this weekend and see about what we like as matchups and try to see if we can make some tough decisions that we've been asked on Twitter that are good questions. They're good questions.
We have questions?
We have a couple questions. Just two or three.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well,
no one even knows we have a Twitter.
He says he likes it. Wait till I give you these options, and you're not going to like the options, but you're at the fit. So
that's too easy. I'll do
okay.
it.
So real quick, I didn't get to watch a ton of the game last night. I had a bunch of early stuff this morning for work.
I'm the only one that watched it.
Well,
Watched it.
Then I ended up doing a bunch of like taping. So, first off, like 100 people. Stupid.
Oh,
I was there forever. Broke some souls too. Like, and I'm just a numbers dude, man. I don't make this up. Anyway,
Tell me
I
to
just
get
say the numbers.
250 and not be fat. Problem
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
It
Anyway,
was at 540, not 250.
540.
We're on a completely different scale.
Yes. So first thing I said this morning when I woke up is I pulled up my app and I looked at everything and I said, gross. Gross. Everything about it was my first issue that I'll start it off with is how in fuck does Moore go for a 39-yard pass on a little swing route and then never get another play?
I don't even know why you brought that up. You're just trying to piss me off. That's
my
infuriating.
Brain exploded.
I hate it because he's clearly good.
He's a fantastic player.
And Murray is a Madden QB, and he'll only throw to receivers that are open. It doesn't matter that Moore got a route after. I mean, that was a tight pass, and he still made a play out of it.
On a dot.
I was like, when he said that, I was like, Moore is going to have a good game today. That was amazing. That looked so good.
Yeah. And with the Madden ones, you ever played Madden enough to where it's like you actually kind of feel bad for the non-starting receiver, and you're like, I guess I gotta throw to him. I feel bad for him. It's like, and that's how I feel he treats him. Like where it's like later in the season, the stats are so garbage. You're like, I'll force a couple to him. Make him happy. He's not even real, right? But the Moore thing really got to me. I'm happy Eno paid off for a lot of folks that picked him up and started him. It's encouraging to see the offense put up this much, but it's also deceiving because the defense spotted them 14 points. So I'm not sure if I would really credit Arizona's offense being on the right track. I think there are some things that went well and some things that didn't. Most of them didn't, though, and that's my issue with the game, the way that it ended. But we can't argue with the score. And on the other side of the ball, I didn't see Kamara for like the first 20-something touches of the game.
I saw him, but it seemed like it wasn't designated. I don't know. It was a little weird. As somebody who is relying on Kamara in my brother's league, which is that broken RB league, I really need him to play well. Because that was my first league. I'm still chasing that Super Bowl. I wasn't concerned. What I had seen early, I was like, okay, it seems like his share is going to be healthy. 1 second, I need to plug my headset in.
You're good. We'll take it over for a sec while Ray does that. So the other part of that too, I'm going to say this, and this was one of our first Twitter questions, Brian, was the enigma that is Taysom Hill. And what situations would you play him in? One question was,
play him in. Okay.
Would you play him over any top 5 tight end? There are some. Kyle Pitts, did you guys keep putting him in the top 5? Not us, but the fantasy world. I have no idea why you keep doing that.
What the fuck is going on? Stop putting bullshit in my top 5.
I will play Taysom Hill over Kyle Pitts every game of the year.
It's not even a question. Twice. I can't. It's not starting him over when he's never going to be on my roster. I'm never picking up Kyle Pitts.
Same.
And I love that our league.
That business.
Not our league, because there are people in our league that think Kyle Pitts is going to be a good tight end. But our show, because Brock isn't here, our show shits on Pitt. And I think we're like the only fantasy show that isn't like pretending that he's going to be
enamored with this dude.
An elite. He had that one big game last season, and nobody has shut the fuck up about it. I don't know. It's a terrible take.
I would bring the most important stat that I think I can really bring to break the facade that is Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, this illusion.
Last weekend, his touchdown was the very first touchdown of his NFL career on American soil. He had one touchdown last year in London.
Oh.
He has never scored in the United States in the NFL till last weekend. I don't know why you keep telling me that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with
my brain just can't handle that because I've seen
25 games, one touchdown.
The third
in 25
string
games.
Bronco tight end has more points or more touchdowns than Kyle Pitts this year.
Yeah.
Can you tell me his name? I can't.
It's
that guy that's everybody's high on.
Dorklick.
Carson. Anyway, we'll get back to that. But my point remains, right? Like, this is not there are some other tight ends right now that I would play Taysom Hill over. I can't really trust Darren Waller right now. That's like 4 or 5 games. I know he's injured this weekend, but it was still a problem prior to that. That I might take a shot and say I'm frustrated with the production and a team's losing and they're not playing good football. And when a team isn't playing good football, your tight end is fucked. Just don't even consider it, man. Yeah. Like, they have to get right in all the other areas before the tight end can excel. That's the 49ers are a perfect example. If they can't protect the quarterback, they're never going to throw to him. They're not going to throw to Kittle. So he has to stay back and block. And now you got to get what you can get. You know what I mean? So
that's a good point.
That was the first. Brian, on the Taysom Hill question.
I'm going to piggyback what you're saying. I like the fact that if the team's not like being able to block well with the offensive line, then that's where they're going to pull in the tight end too. In the case of Taysom Hill, they're not. It's weird. They have a lot of plays for him, and I saw a stat last night about like if he has the ball, like the amount of like touchdowns and yardage, everything seems to really greatly increase. Grows huge. So I don't understand. Personally, I like it. I like what he's got because he could definitely produce. Looking at his numbers here, because he's also a running threat. He can throw it. He can catch it. So I think it's more the fact that I don't think they have a game plan that's a full circle to incorporate what he can do. I would definitely maybe look for him as your matchup kind of to week. I would go find yourself more of like a Pat Freiermuth.
You know that
maybe like a Noah Fant.
Yeah. The matchup is one thing for me, man. The other thing is the amount of injuries New Orleans has dictates to me if I'm playing him or not.
That's another thing too. Is
I'm not playing him.
They got what it was. I don't think Landry played, and I know
Thomas didn't play. Landry didn't play, and there was a tight end that didn't play.
My question is, why is the game plan not falling back on your next big guy here?
What a great question.
Don't get me wrong. I don't remember his damn name. He just put up like 23 points last night.
For the Saints?
Yeah. Let me try to find his name.
The tight end?
No, he's
the receiver.
He's a receiver.
Allegedly.
Shaheed.
No, it's not him. It's
seemed like everybody. Olave had a good week.
That's Olave. I think it was Olave.
He had a good game. He had an 18-point game, not quite a 23, but still, I'm not going to shit on you.
He had a decent game. Like that's good, but like
Olave is good. The problem was Dalton.
He
passed to Callaway way too fucking much.
Yeah.
I think he put a lot of trust in that. I think that's where it kind of fell apart. I think the game plan wasn't there for the Saints at all. And I think it kind of starts with Taysom Hill. Because of the fact that
I don't think so.
So, okay. I think he's so interchangeable. I think that's where you start with your game plan.
I think Taysom is a little more lethal when Winston's back there because now you truly don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know Winston is a good passer. I just know he's still injured. And, I get it, right? Like, if you have broken stuff, like, you should wait for it to chill out and heal. I feel you. I don't have a problem personally with Dalton. I have a problem with him as a quarterback. That has consistently shown that, like, hey, man, we've been down this road literally for a decade and change.
Prime time.
Yeah, prime time, dude.
It's not it.
We've seen this, like, over and over and over again. It's the point that, like, and I'm not a personally attacking guy, but at the point that, like, you can't even supplant Justin Fields, like, there's a problem. And we'll go into, like, you could go into, like, oh, well, the Bears want to build – stop. They want to win football games. And they legit thought that Dalton was not their best chance to win football games, and that should speak volumes on that. And so that's my opinion, right? That's how I see him. But yeah, so I don't want to crush it too much. That the anomalies are there in that game. Be careful with that. Like if Taysom doesn't score somewhere for him in the end zone, it's going to be a bust. It's going to be.
Yeah.
If he doesn't throw a touchdown, if he doesn't run more, if he doesn't catch one, it's going to be a bust. It's going to be bad. It's going to be like 1 to 4 points. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. He's either a dominant top 5 tight end, or he's the most useless player on your roster, and it's not even close.
Yes, that is exactly what it is.
I don't have Taysom Hill for a reason. I started him week 1 because I hate the tight end position, and I thought it would be funny to start Taysom Hill. And he did well. I dropped him immediately because it's as inconsistent as a tight end can get.
Yeah.
He's tight end. True. That's why they have him labeled as one.
He was the quarterback that week that he put up 40 points, wasn't he?
He was everywhere. He rushed for 2 and 3 for 1.
What was he playing? Was Dalton
week
in?
5 Seattle.
Dalton was in, yes.
Was Dalton starting snaps as QB?
Yes.
I do believe so.
My issue with Taysom Hill is that he's unfair, and I don't want to sound like I'm bitching about it. I'll fucking lose because of a stupid Taysom Hill weekend. I'll be just fine. I don't like that there are games where he's clearly quarterback and he's still slotted as a tight end. Because we talked about this, I think last week, I talked about designations. It is different when you have Saquon Barkley throw a pass.
Yes.
2 times a game. Because that's a trick play. That is a tight end play. It is completely different when you're having Taysom Hill
directly
for 19 out of fucking 20 passing plays, he's the one throwing. And then Andy Dalton throws 1 pass. That's a completely different thing. So I just have an issue with him being in the tight end position at all in fantasy, but they don't flex like he's literally like the definition of a super flex.
Yes. I mean that's what he is.
I would start him over. I would not start him over Kelsey, Mark Andrews. I would not start him over. I wouldn't start him over Kittle. I'm too. I require consistency. If you're someone that likes boom potential, you can throw Taysom Hill over Kittle. But I prefer consistency. I moneyball my tight end. I look for the most consistent person. Not
Do you play him over Kittle with CMC now there?
Oh yeah. Speaking of that news,
probably not.
No, I wouldn't. No.
We talked about this morning.
Yeah, we did.
It's a mess.
And it's largely because the Niners O-line just got their starting tackles back like this weekend because they've been on injury. And that's truly why Kittle's numbers are down, because he has to protect Jimmy's life right now. He really is that important in the run game.
If Jimmy goes down,
the
backup?
What was that?
If Jimmy G goes down, who's the next guy?
I have no idea. Right, I don't even know what the name is.
So I think that's where it comes down to what you're saying is Kittle's not going to go out for pass because he needs to be there.
But you know who also benefits the most from that situation is Wilson. Before CMC, we don't know what it's going to look like, so I'm not going to go down that road. But when Kittle is blocking, Wilson has phenomenal games. The Atlanta game, I think they just got. I think they didn't play well. I think they didn't play with a lot of energy. And the Falcons being like, hey, we have no expectations of this year. Fuck it, throw the playbook at them. I don't give a shit who has the ball. Just don't turn it over. And, that's why Mariota went fucking yard. I mean, if that's how their playbook's going to consistently look, Mariota's a top stud. But we've seen it where the defense can track Mariota and he goes for 6 points. You know what I mean? So, Ray, you actually talked about Mariota last week with me about like putting him on your roster and just seeing what was up. Do you have a different opinion after this weekend, or do you think it's still a risky play, but one you're willing to take?
Who are they playing? Off the top of my head, I can't think of it.
This weekend,
this week is Cincinnati.
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 Good defense.
I would be absolutely terrified of starting Mariota against Cincinnati.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't like Mariota. I don't think he's a good quarterback.
I think so. I don't know. What? He's only had one bad game.
Mariota is a D-grade Lamar Jackson. We saw how Cincinnati handled Lamar.
The points that you look at, Brian, at the end of the ledger are from garbage time. Like a huge chunk of his points are garbage time. Like the game's out of reach. He's just running around doing whatever back there. Now, again, for fantasy, I don't give a fuck what it comes from. I feel you. But the point will come where the team will either have to start their, second or third round rookie that they have huge hope for, right? or they need to acknowledge that, like, yeah, by the way, we can't stand throwing the football. We're going to have 10 to maybe 20 throws a game.
I guess I'm looking at the stat here. He went 13 to 14 his last game for San Francisco, only 129 yards, 2 touchdowns, and
does that sound like a quarterback to you?
No,
does that sound like a quarterback to you? It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
And this actually is something that me and Ray talked about last weekend too.
Holy shit!
That stat right there is precisely why you cannot play Drake London and you cannot play Kyle Pitts and expect to have excellence because they throw it maybe 15 times a game.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter
15,
if
25, 19, 20, 20. The highest they've ever thrown it was 33 a game.
Yeah. So that's the problem.
Not gonna work out.
There's this like running stat right now that people are super fucking doped up on about the target share for Drake London. It's irrelevant. It doesn't even go north.
But wasn't it like 30%?
It's high.
We talked about
it's irrelevant. Yeah, it's stupid. It's irrelevant. It has no function, right? But we'll get into that. But I digress. We've got a lot of football to talk about. Me and Ray will just go yard on this one. So we're going to go into our schedule this week and see. I have the questions right here from the Twitter stuff. When we get to the games, I'll ask you them.
I like it.
But the first one on the list is Atlanta going to Cincinnati. I had Burrow in last weekend, and you could not have convinced me to play any other quarterback on the roster just because, Burrow coming home to New Orleans for the first time since the national title game.
That's a good
New Orleans was
good idea.
Right? They loved it. And Burrow ended up number 1 on the weekend with 33 points at the end of the day. It was a phenomenal game for him. Jamar Chase, another
300 yards,
game.
3 tutties, rushed 1.
Yep. That rush was actually crazy. Yeah. It was a busted play. And then he ran straight for 30 yards. I was like, what the fuck? No way. Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I loved it.
I don't think they have any problem with Atlanta at all this weekend.
No, I will say this. Issue.
If you had to say what's one game you would bet Drake London to have a good game, I think because since he goes up by 28 on them by half, that London probably has a pretty good game because they will have to throw to keep up. That's my opinion of that. But I thought the same thing when the Niners went to Atlanta. I thought the same thing. And nope, that's not how it went down.
Okay, but I don't see – there's no chance.
No, I don't see
Atlanta's defense. Well, it's not just that. Joe Burrow is far better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Agreed.
True.
And that Cincy receiving core is for real, the top dog.
Yeah.
So, great. I covered T. Higgins. What about Jamar Chase? Oh, yeah, I got him covered. Boyd, Hurst, Mixon. The list goes on and on, man.
I would not I personally would not start a single Cincinnati receiver, but that's in fantasy. In real football, T. Higgins, and this is why, because T. Higgins and Boyd exist solely to mock defenses. They absolutely, their entire existence is just disrespecting the defense because, like you said, you cover T. Higgins and Chase because you're afraid of the outside threat, and then Boyd's just going to drop a 20 bomb on you. He's just going to absolutely shit on you.
100% capable of doing that. Yeah, so
I wouldn't start him, but for real football, that receiving core sucks to play against.
Yeah, no, it's tough, right? If you asked me to play any Falcons, I would say good luck with whatever running back you choose. It's probably not going to go well.
Zero chance. None of them have done well since Patterson's been gone.
It's gross. You can't predict it. Do I think Pitts has a good game? Absolutely not. No, I think it's going to be pretty decisive. Now, will the volume be there for him to have an okay game? Maybe. It's possible.
Yeah.
But I'm not expecting 30 points. And if you are, you haven't been watching the Falcons. So we're just going to move next. This one is actually I think a good fantasy game. Detroit goes to Dallas. I think it's a good fantasy game because
Detroit
I think in Dak's return.
Detroit loves scoring points.
That's right.
They've scored a ton already.
I think Dak is going to go celebrate his return.
Speaking of that, so Dak is back, yes.
Yes, he is fully cleared. Okay. Already the starter. Yep. 100%.
Damn. Yeah, fuck you, Rush.
Yeah. But I would also – seriously, right? What I would say, too, is I would start with the Dallas side of the ball. Lamb and Gallup and Schultz immediately now are much more relevant. Much more.
You think so? You think it's affecting the quarterback play, or is there just not fucking –
Yes, it is because at that point that – go ahead.
No, I guess I never realized when I take a step back because I'm looking at this when I see Russell Wilson out in Denver. I guess when it comes down to it, you really need a good quarterback because there's always there's receivers wide open. Yeah. And if they don't see him and they don't make that throw, then that's game. It's not nothing's going to happen.
That's funny. A Pittsburgh fan talking about quarterbacks, not knowing about wide open receivers.
Hey man,
that's interesting.
They're winning.
They're
winning.
Are they? Are they?
Yeah, yes, we are. One game since our last show. We beat the GOAT. Thank you.
That dude hasn't been the GOAT in fucking Jesus. Don't get me started on Tom Brady right now.
Right. We'll get there.
Tom Brady's
Don't worry.
Side.
We'll get there.
Bring me Miami. Bring me Bills.
That's right. Bring the Bills. Don't do that. That would be another 41-0 game right
I don't need that anymore.
So on Dallas' side now, one of my Twitter questions: Pollard, Zeke, and you have to choose one. You can't say no. That's not going to help.
Nope. I'd probably go Pollard off the rip.
Can we kill them both?
I would go Zeke, and I go Zeke because they've consistently given him 15 carries for the past 4 games. And that's just on volume based, man, not because of talent or speed or whatever. Just ball in the hand. I go with Zeke because he's just consistently getting more shots with the ball. I know Pollard is better. I know. I've watched it. It's just for some reason, man, they don't fucking use him like a bell cow, and they should, but they don't.
I'm looking there. Oh.
But Dak loves Schultz. Dak will throw to Schultz 15 to 16 times a game. I swear to Christ. I've seen it over and over.
I like that matchup coming back. That's a good one.
That's one I like. And I like that it takes the single crosshair that the Cowboys offense was Lamb and whoever the number 2 receiver was from injury right before Gallup. It was Noah Brown, who did great with his opportunity. He truly did. In fact, if Gallup's out again, I would flex Noah Brown every time because he truly got plenty of opportunity and did great with it. But as soon as Gallup got back, he's not playable. Any questions?
Yeah, because I don't think he played in the slot even once Gallup was back. I don't think they even demoted him to slot. I think they just completely pulled him from
starting. Yeah, no, they didn't rock out there with that. So going on to the Detroit side of the ball, it does get a little bit dicier. We have some injuries pending, and one that they've already ruled out. Reynolds, the receiver, DJ Chark is out. So right now, Swift is still questionable. He has played limited throughout the week on practice. I mean, we've seen enough to know that if I were a betting man, I'm putting in Williams, and I'm putting him in without much hesitation. He probably does perfectly fine for you.
Yeah, I'm liking Williams in that situation a lot.
Am I playing Goff? No, not if I can help it. I know he'll probably put up points, but not before he throws 3 picks and has to dig out of his own grave.
Yeah, for sure. They're able to score a lot of points, but they also got a lot of points scored on them, and they turn over the ball too. So I wouldn't do that.
If Hawkinson is cleared, I'm probably still not playing him because he's definitely one of the dudes when he has a injury designation, can't really play him, man, because he may go out there for 5 plays and he may play a whole game, and I could be wrong. I'm willing to bet I'm not. But that's me, just because I've seen it a couple of years now.
Yeah, I agree with that. They don't really.
Goff is not startable because of who they're playing this week.
Yeah. It's good defense.
I don't think he's going to. I think Detroit's going to get killed this game. I think it's Dak's homecoming game. Dallas is coming off of a really strong game against Philly. So I don't know. If you guys watch New Heights, the Kelsey Brothers podcast, if you don't, you should. It's really good.
No, I
haven't seen it yet. No.
I think it's on Spotify, so you can listen to it. It's really good. So Jason talked about, he was bragging about Philly's second half offense, which I was talking to you about, Jim. Their second half offense is fucking terrible.
Garbage.
2 weeks in a row, I think 2 weeks in a row, they've not scored a touchdown in the second half. And if they have, it was 1 touchdown.
There was the 1 touchdown, and they missed the extra point this last weekend.
Yes.
So they put up 1 touchdown after 120.
The last 5 games that they played, they have scored 2 touchdowns in the second half.
Second half?
That's 10 quarters without a touchdown.
Yeah.
That is horrible. That is horrible second half offense. And it's in games where they're not that far ahead.
Yep.
So,
and if a team can match their offensive put out, it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be that's where they're going to take their first loss, is a team that can match their offense. A team like Buffalo, who plays better in the second half, you're going to struggle.
Or a better test for them would have been to play against a healthy Dak. That you would have learned a lot more about your team than playing against
because they boomed in the first half, and then slowed in the second half like they have for the last 5 weeks. So the defense in Arizona and in Dallas both did well against their weaker. I don't know what it is about the second half that they do poorly. I don't know if it's just because every defense they played against has amped up.
It's because they go into that rush offense where they tend to hand it off more than they take chances because they're up
in the air.
And they just lose their lead over time.
I think it's that. And this year, more than any, I think I love this that I'm about to say this because I know last year we argued about this because the Manning brothers said that there's no such thing as halftime adjustments, and I vehemently disagreed with them.
Yeah,
I've seen it multiple times this year. This year. Buffalo has to do it every week. They have to make halftime adjustments because they have to know. They see how you're attacking them, and then they adjust it. Buffalo's O-line completely changed in the second half of the Kansas City game. He was getting massacred in the first half.
Another good team on that one is the Giants, right? The Giants may go down 14-0 at half, and then they give up nothing.
That second half is huge.
They stick around. They just don't
the Giants are the number one defense against wide receivers right now, I believe.
Yeah,
which is insane to me. That's even a statistic.
I would never
number one anything is insane to me.
Right. Which is I bring it up just because it's relevant to that defensive stat. Another team whose defense is absolutely awesome is the Broncos. They don't give up. They give up one touchdown a game. That's it, dude.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
But because
they're being beaten over their heads with a heavy stick because their offense cannot stay on the field. No, I have been saying that about Denver.
Russell Wilson just shit in the bucket.
Yeah. All right, so I think we got that one there. You're playing the guys that you've been playing with those two teams. There's no radical changes. You know what I mean? Next one is, while it may not be sexy, I'm gonna argue with you, Ray, here that I think there's a ton of fantasy value, and I'll tell you why. Indy goes to Tennessee. The peripheral pieces of Indy have produced solidly for fantasy this year. Mainly my guy Pierce. Pierce has been a joy to watch. It's a true threat rookie. It really is. Because what happens is this. Even when JT was out the past few weeks, Pierce is actually even more playable in that situation because the only other threat was Pittman. Once they had to double up on Pittman, it forces Matt Ryan to use the rookie receiver or a tight end. We have another rookie tight end that's played very well, Jelani, who's just a giant of a man. He's done well. But just shy of that, don't get me wrong, Deion Jackson did amazing. It was awesome to see a dude put up 28 points on a backup role. It was great. He caught 10 of 10 targets for 100 yards as a running back and rushed for a touchdown. It was good. It was good to watch. On the Indy side, you're playing Pierce. People may call it a dart throw. I'm going to play Pierce over a lot of players y'all have been – not y'all, but just as a fantasy, I'm playing him over Judy. I'm playing him over Thielen if he were here this week. I'm playing him over a huge chunk of players, man.
That's fair.
I like it. Who is Minnesota playing this week?
Minnesota's going to buy.
Oh, well, of course you're starting him over.
I followed it up with if they were playing, right? But I also am playing Pierce over his counterpart on the other side of the ball, and Robert Woods. I sure am. You bet your ass I am.
Oh, Robert Woods. You're starting him over Robert Woods. I would start him over Robert Woods. Mm-hmm. I thought you were saying his counterpart as in Pittman, and I was like, you're out of your fucking mind.
No.
I started Thielen over Pierce last week, and it went in my favor. No, it went in my favor.
Wait.
Thielen put up 16, Pierce put up 13.
Oh, that's right. Now, both had a game. Both had a good game.
Thielen, you take that touchdown away from Thielen, and Pierce beats him out. And I don't know, did Pierce get a touchdown?
He did not get a touchdown against that Denver game, that terrible Thursday night game, but he actually put up like 17 points. He had a good game. He had a good game for not scoring anything.
Pierce is a shocking WR2. I just don't know how long that's going to last. Depends on how creative their route running is with him.
You know,
how many weeks of tape is it going to take for whatever team they're playing CB2 to figure him out? Right.
Well, okay, but while they're trying to figure that out, you still have to worry about Jonathan Taylor. You still have to worry about Pittman.
The corners are not worried about Jonathan Taylor.
You know, I'm going to shoot you down there. I don't think Jonathan Taylor has a fucking – I think he's absolutely toast this season. Absolute garbage. There's nothing – he's been hurt. He's coming back. He says he's healthy.
People are worried about his injury being more serious than is being let on. I've heard that as well.
I think the injury is a little bit more serious than what it is. They say he's healthy. He's coming back for this week. But even then, he still hasn't. Indy's
They
run
said
game
that-
has absolutely.
They said the same thing with Derrick Henry, and I think it's because you can't be honest about injuries because then teams capitalize.
strategize over it.
Yeah.
So
we'll
I am
see, right?
inclined to agree. Also, I don't like JT, and I want him to suffer. Stop doing yoga. You're a grown man.
Hey, that's all right.
Hey, yoga's
but
actually
if
pretty
he
good.
if he does
Yeah,
go
you would
off,
think
I
that.
mean, it's going to be constant. I'm just going to be relentless with it. All right, now.
Whatever.
On
The
other side
RB1
of the
did
ball-
well. What a fucking surprise.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Wow.
you fucking dunce. Anyway, on the other side of the football, on the Tennessee side, no. There was no fucking reality in which I would play Tannehill. You couldn't pay me. I would sit a bye quarterback in the slot before I played Tannehill, and I wouldn't even be sorry about it. Fuck that guy. They have no tight end to speak of. Derrick Henry, of course, duh. Yeah, no shit. Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, you can. I think that's an easy start. Even if he doesn't have a great game, he's
the whole offense. It's very much like a Giants and Titans thing, right? The offense goes through the running back. It doesn't matter who the fuck it is, right?
Yep.
If it wasn't Saquon, the backup would get 25 carries as well. It wouldn't change. They have to use that, right? I still think Robert Woods is more playable with the rookie still on IR for turf toe. I'm still not thrilled about it. But if I had to, yeah, I'd play him. I'd play him over a lot of dudes on waiver wire.
Derrick Henry is ruining that team because they're still able to rely on him. When Derrick Henry was out, Tannehill had to really fucking ball out to make
keep the W's going. Yeah. But he also had AJ Brown. He doesn't have it this year. Although they swear they've replaced him with the rookie.
AJ Brown this year is shut the fuck up. That rookie that has done nothing all season.
Hey man, I'm just repeating what they say.
AJ is better this season, in my opinion, than he was last season. And
agree.
I think that Robert Woods could be just as good as AJ Brown was last year.
He's good.
If Tannehill was forced to make plays. I don't know. I don't watch that much Titans ball because their games are always boring, to be honest.
They're boring as shit.
That's fair.
So I try to watch every game. I do my best. I don't always because sometimes I'm just like, this is not worth my fucking time.
It's not great.
The Bills are on. I'm not switching away from the Bills for this shit. So
okay. Yeah, I mean, and that really sums up.
Titans.
And that sums up the Titans' offense. Yeah, Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Yeah.
No.
Well, by God,
I'll start Robert Woods in a flex, but the problem with Robert Woods
10 points.
is there's always better receivers. There's so many people.
I'd rather start like Thielen or Falcon.
I'm starting Pierce over him, like I said earlier.
Yeah,
and I'm not even thinking twice about it.
I'm starting running backs over Robert Woods. Yeah, I would too. Yeah, Deontay Jones is more consistent.
Would I start Naheem Hines over Robert Woods?
No. Not with JT. Not if JT is in. No.
Well, if the injury is like what what Brian's saying, right? Like Naheem is involved and JT is not, and he's a good running back.
You're talking a WR1 over an RB2, and that's
barely.
I don't think anybody really. I don't think fucking the Colts have any motion going forward for anything fantasy wise.
Oh, you don't?
No.
I have no idea what that sentence means. What the fuck are you talking about?
It means
it
means they're garbage.
Pittman is still going to be a good. He's still going to have fantasy value.
Pittman
Pierce is still a good flex. But
hey man, I didn't say.
I don't know what your
point
is. If JT is bad, then the receivers automatically become better. Like
you know what the issue is? It's because I drafted him first round pick and he ain't done shit for me.
And that's football.
In our
league?
No, this is the other league.
No, I was gonna say fucking Jim's ugly ass has him in our league.
Yeah,
this is another league,
and it truly is like just chasing people that I want to watch play. Now, Brian, I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'll say is this, and this is what I told Ray for fantasy stuff. Just fantasy vision, Brian. Okay. The last 3 games, the Colts have won 3 straight now. The last 3 games, Matt Ryan's going over 30 attempts, and last week went 59 attempts, right? For fantasy, a lot of gold there. They played much better football against the Jaguars. Much better.
Yeah, they were. They were a lot better.
You know,
sure.
Did they play better, or did Jacksonville just play worse? Because
Jacksonville played great though. It was a tutty for tutty.
Yeah, it was pretty bad from what I remember.
They played bad. It was bad football.
Well, if you had Lawrence in,
he looked like shit.
I know.
I think on the week I didn't. Trevor Lawrence had rushing touchdowns. I keep bouncing my camera. He had rushing touchdowns, right?
Yeah, which saved the fantasy, I guess.
His fantasy value, but Trevor Lawrence is not that guy, dude. That football was so ugly.
No, he's not.
Him getting rushing touchdowns makes him look nice, but it's not like a Mahomes or an Allen rushing touchdown where it's like he made a play. It was like everything fell apart, and then he got some rushing in. It didn't look.
I have a Twitter question, and that actually leads it right into the next one. The Giants travel to Jacksonville. Okay.
Yeah.
The question was, what Giants receiver would you play? And I said I would play Slayton and not expect much. But if I wanted a chance at a big player, Wan'Dale Robinson is the only dude I would consider.
I'm starting Bellinger this week.
I would play Bellinger. But receiver in particular in this instance.
Specific wide receiver. But
in the Giants offense, I guess that's a relative term, right? It's just whoever can make a fucking play. Honestly, I don't know that I would.
I think I said this when we were watching the game. Yeah, no, we were watching the game.
Yeah.
I was like, this is how you know a team is bad, because their touchdowns are coming from dudes you've never heard of.
Never.
That's a bad sign of an offense.
Looked up their roster. I was like, I don't even know who
Bellinger. Yeah.
So, and I mean that with full respect to the Giants, because I'm not shitting on them because they are 5-1, but no team that is going all the way to the Super Bowl doesn't have design plays.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No. The trickaroonies, and I would also like, as much as I love to see
apart.
Because I have them, I don't care. Who?
That's not a person. Shut the fuck up.
Is he?
What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Does he play in the NFL still?
Get the fuck out of here, Brian. Do you know what year it is?
You should feel bad.
What year is it?
Yeah. He says he's first on the depth chart. I'm looking right at him.
Yeah,
he literally has not been number one the entire season. He has not done anything. Not only this year, but last year too.
Kenny
Galladay does not play for anyone.
This is literally never.
The last game he
played. You don't even watch football.
The last game he played,
I don't watch the
0 targets.
You're so dumb. 0.
Goose egg. Now,
dumb.
Before we get
not
there,
a person.
And Ray, just to back up your point more, another thing you don't see from Super Bowl teams, and I don't like it. I love it because I'm a Saquon shareholder, but I don't like Wildcat. If you have to run Wildcat, it's not good, man. It's not.
You don't
good.
think so?
No. When running backs have
are we
to
talking
take
about like more of
snaps,
this? Like, is this just in general, like once a game, or is this like constant?
Well, constant, because Miami, when they invented the Wildcat, it's exactly how they did it. They ran it all the time, almost to death.
Okay.
Saquon is like, I'm not mistaken. Wildcat, that was a Miami design play, right? They busted it out because they had a shit team. You
Wildcat
see it on teams. You see it on bad teams. And again, I'm not saying this to be disrespectful.
No, I'm not.
It's a lack of talent. It is not like you're not trying, you're not putting in the effort, or not even to say that you're not doing well. But I'm saying like you don't have the depth
long
in your
term
roster. Yeah,
it's not going to make it right. But here's what I would also say though: as much as I'm shitting on that, I don't think you could pay me to play a Jacksonville receiver against that secondary that's been lights out. Lights out.
Uncharacteristically good. It's
right.
Unreal.
It's gross, but they're doing it.
It's unreal.
The fact
the
that
problems
they
that
hit
people
Rodgers 5 times for sacks actually is amazing. Because Rodgers doesn't take sacks. Well, this year's off.
He also doesn't throw interceptions, but
that too.
He did against the Giants.
But the rookie defensive ends for the Giants, Kayvon Thibodeau in particular, after he came back from that injury, and Ujulari, the other one, they are it's not even that they're getting sacks, man. They just put your giant fucking hands in the air.
That's been a thing this year.
Balls everywhere,
That's been a thing this year, though. It's like all of a sudden, why is every quarterback so readable? Like, why are we having all these dudes who, like, they know exactly where you're throwing? Yeah.
Right. And eventually it'll turn into an interception, which
I know. Actually, I do know what that's from.
Yeah.
I was Colin. I don't know his fucking show. I don't know his full name. He's a big sports guy that sometimes, because he's a big Chiefs guy. He's very for Mahomes.
Colin Coward.
Mahomes. I think so. White guy, white hair.
Yeah.
I think it's Colin.
He talked about this. The big play percentage is way down this year.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys have probably seen this. So he talked about how our plays inside of 20 yards are higher this year and by a large margin, that's where those tipped balls are coming from too, because QBs are throwing closer or throwing lower because the pass is shorter. Stop fucking doing that. It's not one, it's boring. One, it's boring. Two, it's clearly not working out for some of you because, I mean, Dalton, it seemed like every fucking play, they knew exactly where he was throwing it because the defender just did this, and it went right into his hand. It hit him like dead center in his palm. Like he knew exactly where to put his hand. I don't know what that's from. I don't play in the NFL. I've never seen a game like that.
No, and going into so on the Jacksonville side, look, me and Ryan have had this shared torture all year long. No, I don't know what running back to play, dog.
Etienne Robinson. I'm not even going to give you Etienne right now, and I hate
Etienne now.
I'm an Etienne denier. I don't know, man. Like I told you, 3 is a pattern. 3 is a pattern. I think he's going on like week 4.
I'm throwing a dart on him this weekend. I am. I'm throwing a dart on him this weekend, and it's really just because
I took him out. I'm done. I'm done.
No, I get why you do that.
Me as well.
I get why you do that.
I'm done with Robinson. I'm done with Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Oh, you're an idiot. That's a mistake.
I'm done.
No.
That's
we'll get to the Chiefs and we'll talk about that one.
But to stick with Robinson, I believe that I think he's had 4 in a row that were sub 10 points. It's been 4 short 3, maybe 4. 1, 2, 3. That's a pattern to me.
It's been 3 for below 10. But his first 3 games were 19, 15, and 20.
Lights out. Lights out.
What happened?
I'll tell you what
I don't know about lights out. Racking up points doesn't mean you had a lights out game. Just because you scored doesn't necessarily
but that's when
mean
the Jags were 2-1. And they were winning somehow, but it was a good competitive game. And they went to Philly, and then it came on a downpour, and then everything changed to shit.
Bad teams can play well at the beginning of the season. I've talked about this if not in the show, for sure in our group chat. It seems like these bad teams played well at the beginning because of the newness of some of their players, the newness of their offenses. Having Christian Kirk on the Jacksonville defense was something that teams that are not used to, teams that play Jacksonville are not used to, having that caliber receiver there.
Yeah,
like I was just talking about with Pierce, how many tapes do you need before you realize clearly in Jacksonville it only took 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're like, we know the routes he's going to run. We know how Trevor's going to get the ball to him. And then they just started interfering.
But the same conversation defends Olave, right? Because they're both rookies, and Olave is the only motherfucker out there at this point.
I say no because I think the Saints' offense is is far more unpredictable, not a little bit. Like last night, Olave had a good night, but Callaway was the one getting the targets. Like, you know what I'm saying? Olave is making plays. I fucking hate Callaway. After that game, he's pissed me off. I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
Etienne to me, based off of the pattern I've seen, is going to, and I'm an Etienne denier. I don't have any faith in his ability to be a dominant back. I think that they're going to keep using him, and I don't know if it's because there's something going on with Robinson, like his injury is flaring up, which is possible. With an Achilles injury. It's entirely possible that it just fucking hurts for him to run, and they're trying to not tear it again.
Says he's healthy.
Yeah, and we for sure know that that's a thing. Like, whatever, dude. I don't even know what to say.
So,
this year, every year, you can't. I always say you don't need to worry about questionable until I started Tua and Waddle, and then neither of them played for 3/4 of a game. So,
that was wrong. But we're going to push past that. Honestly, every single Jacksonville player is a dart throw. I don't care what anyone tells you. It is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The best player on their team.
I think Etienne's the safest dart throw, though. No, because Trevor Lawrence is throwing him the ball. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is good enough to get Kirk the ball under coverage or under
I don't
pressure.
think so either. No, you're right there. And I think that defense is much tougher than people realize. They just haven't played like super flashy touchdown-y football, right? But going into the big play part, Green Bay goes to Washington. I'm not playing a Green Bay running back. I'll play Jones if I had to.
Yeah.
I'm not playing Rodgers.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
I'll play maybe Lazard. Dobbs is
there
not
are
Watson,
trades.
not Cobb, not whoever the fuck. Sammy Watkins comes back off of IR this week.
Yeah.
Not interested.
Is Cobb out? Because I saw you
Cobb's out on IR. Yeah, high ankle sprain. Tanyan is as good of a tight end as anyone else you're going to throw a fucking dart at.
Yeah, I mean him. You could start him, Dawson Knox.
Sure.
In my opinion, Hayden Hurst, Conklin.
Yeah.
maybe you can't play Conklin because for some undescribed reason.
Apparently, Uzomah's the starter. Who fucking knows
I don't know.
days?
I don't know what's going on there, but
do you think Green Bay loses their third game in a row?
I'm hoping for it. Oh, I'm praying on their downfall. I watched it started in my brother's league.
I'd love to see it. I'll, before we go into that part, I want to go to the Twitter questions surrounding this game.
Okay.
Which one of the Commanders receivers would you play?
With Heineke and McLaurin.
Samuel,
I love Samuel, but he's trending down.
Here's the second part of that
recently.
Question. Second part of the question. Which running back would you play if you had to?
Brian Robinson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again,
I think that's a solid straight answer.
It's a safe run straight play. That's why. It's not turn the ball over, flip it out, do all. Nope. It's run that way. That's it. That's all I need you to do. I don't care if you get a yard to carry. I don't give a fuck.
Another rookie running back I have no faith in, and I don't think they're going to be worth anything. That sounds harsh. I just mean like fantasy wise, not NFL wise.
It's the system. I'm not the one player. I'm not going to sit here and blame. The whole fucking system sucks.
The whole system.
You have 3 running backs to get equal shares of the ball, and
who could play anywhere. They can play anywhere.
That's a mess. Well, McKissick's out, so I think Brian Robinson and Gibson are going to share the ball. Obviously, all the McKissicks are going to be split up between them. I have no reason to believe otherwise. So
every passing down will go to Gibson. Every one of them, not a single one.
Maybe this is a false perception on my part. I feel like Gibson gets more passes with Wentz than he ever did with Heineke.
Agreed.
So if I'm going into a Heineke system, McLaurin's going to get a lot of targets, and maybe him and Curtis mesh well.
You never know. Maybe they've been playing well.
Wentz looked so fucking bad in that Bears game. That Bears game should have been an amazing game for Washington receivers. It's disgusting.
And Carson.
How poorly,
Carson. There's no reason why he couldn't fucking dominate. But
Heineke plays a little bit of swagger though, so I would expect them to come out.
Yeah, he takes shots,
which can come back on them. But I expect them to be right there with.
I think that if they play the ball deeper, you will see more value out of Samuel than if they keep doing this 20-yard cut shit.
Yeah.
The reason I think Green Bay probably wins this one pretty handily is because Washington's defense has been terrible.
No, they haven't.
Terrible.
They were fucking goddamn awful against the Bears. I would say they've been inconsistent, not terrible.
Chase Young's still not back, man. I don't have any faith that they can stop anyone at all.
I don't know.
But I think Dobbs and Lazard are just as fucking like if you had to, they're probably pretty equal to what you have to do. I don't love a lot of this. I'm playing it because I have to, or I'm a fan. I don't know.
I pulled Lazard after I talked to you, and I put Godwin in because I just don't like. Maybe points wise, he's a bit more high scoring, more consistent with like closer to 20. Now most of those are relying on him getting a touchdown.
4 to 5 targets, man. Like there's nothing there.
I don't like him. I don't like Green Bay. I don't like that all of his value comes from the fact that he gets one really big touchdown pass every game.
That's it. The reason I told you about Godwin, because it pushes us into the next one, this is an excellent spot. The Buccaneers go into Carolina that has just been gutted.
Yeah. That's an accurate term.
I have no idea who plays in Carolina. I have no fucking idea. None.
I believe they call it a rebuild.
DJ Moore still exists. I'm told.
Not a rebuild.
But you have to prove it, first off. Godwin goes ham in this game. I'm pretty sure.
It was 3
because Lenny
next year, 2 years from now.
Yeah,
it was a
both
lot.
Lenny and White have been running the ball a lot, man. I think you're going to see a more passing attack here, just because they're a little bit tired, a little bit dinged up. Get this offense back into a rhythm. Get Godwin and Evans involved. Get your dudes out there. I think you're going to see more throws than you think.
Yeah, coming off a big loss at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Well, Carolina's defense is fucking god awful.
I don't know. I don't even know who plays there.
They don't need to use Lenny to beat the defense in a submission because they're so bad. So I certainly do see a lot more passing.
I'll tell you what. Now that you say that, now I think about it more. I actually would flex White. I would. I know Lenny's an auto start. Yes, of course, but I would flex White.
When Tampa gets ahead, White has fantasy value.
That's what I'm saying.
Put up 15 points when they're ahead.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to get ahead against them?
Against Carolina, I have zero doubt.
I sit pause.
Ooh.
I say that because Pittsburgh won. They were never really ahead.
Yeah, Brady played like shit. That's
it was
not
a terrible game.
Carolina is not going to stop Leonard Fournette. They are not. It's not going to happen. Leonard Fournette is twice the running back that Jeff Wilson is, and Jeff Wilson ran his big fat mini cock down their throat. I know, because I lost a fucking disc that week because of it. Because he demolished them, ran all over them.
A big popular topic on Twitter, obviously having the recent things. Listen, I've had my dose of reality last year. No, I'm not playing Donta Foreman or Chuba Hubbard. No.
I don't agree with that. Donta Foreman's really good. They're going to have to rely on him. I just would hate to have
for him, dude.
It doesn't. I mean, who was blocking for CMC? I'm not interested.
Okay, but he's getting 15 targets a game, dog.
Yeah, why is Donta Foreman is a good player. I think he's going to get above 10 points. Now, if you're in a position where that's even something you need to consider, you might as well fucking send it because clearly, Brian, you're in a fucking fuck fest anyways, and you might as well fucking sling it.
Not great.
I like Donta Foreman. I think that I hate that he's on that team.
Yes.
But
that's it. That's the only person I'm going to even talk about because
Chuba Hubbard,
you could not force me to start DJ Moore right now.
No, but that's because they have no one throwing the ball.
Yes, sir. Actually,
I don't know, man.
Sammy D back off IR this weekend. He hasn't been cleared to play, but he's back.
Fucking Christ. They better clear him as soon as possible if they want to win a game. I never thought that I would be saying that Sam Darnold is your only chance at winning games to anyone. But
Davis,
clearly...
Sammy, you're our only hope. Okay. It's gross.
I fucking love, Baker going down there and proving me right that he's a dog shit quarterback who's being carried by a dominant O-line and rushing game.
This next one,
beautiful. Very vindicated.
The next two games I really like. One's the last game of the 1 o'clock window and the first game of the 4 o'clock window. The last game of the 1 o'clock window, Cleveland goes to Baltimore. Mm-hmm. Both teams must win.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams must win this game if they want to have a relevant season. And I don't care that but they have a couple wins at Baltimore. They've lost majorly critical games.
Right? Are they on their third loss?
They're 3-3 right now, man.
That is a very bad stat. Yeah.
How do you go 3-0 and then 0-3, man? What the fuck's going on there, right? Mm-hmm. J.K. Dobbins has been deactivated for the season. His knee required another surgery. He's not going to IR. He is deactivated. He's done.
He gone.
But honestly, no one here was banking on J.K. carrying them. You can't tell me
I dropped J.K. Dobbins at the start of the season.
I
had no faith in him. Sorry.
No, it seems like everybody on that fucking team can run the ball.
Obviously,
but Lamar's the only one doing it.
You're playing Andrews. You're playing Lamar. It's a good matchup for Lamar to do his Lamar thing because defense on the Cleveland side has been not great, not terrible.
It's been fine.
It's been fine.
I don't know off the top of my head what their rushing defense looks like. I know that Ramondre Stevenson kind of ran it down on him, but that big touchdown from Ramondre, I don't think was a rush. I think it was a pass that he cut up field for.
It was kind of like the Kansas City shovel pass. Yeah, it was a little fucking thing. Right
that's
there.
What I'm saying. Yes. That's not a strict. I'm running from the pocket. So maybe they slow him down.
His second touchdown was though from 8 yards out. That was straight, just manly finishing the game run. Mm-hmm. But I like
Cleveland in this matchup though.
I always root for Cleveland. I play for Buffalo. I'm rooting for him.
I don't like them both. However,
I think Amari Cooper goes for 30, and I think Njoku has a pretty okay game.
I think Njoku is a good start here. Nick
Chubb is probably going to kind of ball out.
There's not a week that you can't start Chubb. I know he did poorly. Well,
I'm talking about not. He's obviously an auto start. I'm saying like 20 plus. Yeah, that's what I'm putting him at. 20 plus.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Kareem Hunt to me. Listen, I don't think you can play Kareem right now. There's nothing that says that. It's been consistent enough for you to play him.
You could throw him in a flex, but it's
if you absolutely had to.
They're using him as a pressure relief valve to give Chubb rest, and just in certain plays where they want a safety or Brissett to dump it off to. I have nothing against Hunt, but Chubb healthy is so dominant that Hunt is not going to get the snap percentage that he did the last 2 years.
One of the last Twitter questions we had was they asked, okay, Duvernay or Donovan Peoples-Jones?
Duvernay. It's not even a question.
Duvernay.
It's not even a question.
Well, you say that,
Nope.
That's not a question. I don't have anything personal against Donovan.
We have answered your question.
What is his name? Donovan? I can't. His name is too
Jones.
fucking long. That's
Donovan
my problem with him. I can never. Donovan Peoples-Jones, right? Okay, so
It's just a name. I don't know.
Here was the argument.
Cooper is too good.
Nope.
So either no passing is happening because the secondary for whoever Cleveland is playing is shutting that shit down, and then they're just trying to use Chubb and Hunt to get that fall out of
and Njoku.
And Njoku, but that's like again with tight ends, they're kind of a mixture because they play on the they play across the field and they play kind of in between the linebackers and the secondaries. So that's a whole other thing. When the secondary is weak and Brissett is balling out, that ball is going to Cooper like 90% of the time.
All the time. And Cooper looks good, man.
Mm-hmm.
He looks healthy.
Don't look too bad.
Him and Brissett have a very clear relationship. Like they understand how to play together, which is crazy because this is their first year together.
It is. All right. Now, the high-flying Jets travel to Denver this weekend.
Oh, boy.
You're starting Brees. You can throw Carter in a flex.
Carter in a flex, yeah.
You're not touching any Jets receiver. Don't even fucking think about it.
No, that's not true. Barrios. I would flex Barrios.
Barrios because he has returning value.
Yeah,
that's why.
Not just returning value. They do weird plays with him that you wouldn't know that you're not going to see with other receivers. Like
enough for you to flex,
and it works.
Yeah, why not?
It's explosive.
Yeah. They've shown that like. Especially when they need a touchdown, they've like done weird stuff with.
That's their dude.
Him. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about that's their dude. I compare him to kind of like Duvernay. He's not a Diggs receiver, but he does do things for their offense that are that make him have value. I don't know. I just
reminds me of a speedier Hunter Renfrow.
Sure. Yeah. I would say Renfrow last year.
Renfrow last year.
Obviously not this year. I don't know what's going on with Hunter, but.
I
don't know what's going on with that whole team.
We're going to get there. Don't worry.
So I would equate him to Barrios in the sense that like just both the touchdowns that I've seen of him in the last 2 weeks, it's just like clearly that was a design play, and any receiver that has plays designed for him has a lot more value than like what we were talking about before, where it's just like that dude just happened to be open and got his first career touchdown in 3 years. Yeah.
Another popular Twitter trend. Are you playing any Denver running back? No.
It depends on who I have. If I'm RB0, I would stay Latavius Murray or Melvin Gordon. I'm fucking fed up with I'm fed up with the Gordon disrespect. The dude's still a dominant running back.
And he's just sitting on
he's playing in a toxic fucking offense right now. I'm fed up with it. The Chargers, who he used to play for and played really well for, throwing him up on the fucking Jumbotron and putting the clown emoji over him, that's fucking unacceptable to me. I can't fucking stand the Chargers as a Denver fan. Anyway, that really pissed me off. I was not pleased with that. He's been disrespected most of the season, and I'm pretty fed up with it. He's still talented. He's in a toxic offense where they don't know what the fuck they're doing with the ball anyway.
They don't.
Stop disrespecting this player.
I'm going to add more to it. The Jets' secondary defense is top 5 so far in the NFL. That's how they've been staying in the games. That's how they're doing it, right?
Yeah.
They obviously, they gave up like 14 receptions to Hill, but they gave fuck all to Waddle, right?
Yeah.
So like they're capable. I really do think this is a terrible spot for Judy and Sutton. I really do.
Sutton is okay. So Judy and Sutton are almost comparable to Waddle and Hill. It's a little bit different. Waddle is
a little bit different style, but yeah.
Waddle is leagues above Judy, and I don't think Hill is anywhere near or Sutton is anywhere near Hill. So it's like the caliber there is a little bit different, and I don't think Waddle's low scoring game was because of the Jets secondary. I think that his targets were low. Like
that
I've
was
said
the third
before,
string that day, wasn't it?
No, it was Bridgewater for most of the game. Actually, I
thought this was when he busted his head.
No. Against the Jets? This was last week. It was 2 weeks ago. I was thinking of Miami's game last week. Yeah, my bad. Gotcha, it was the third string. So obviously that entire game for Miami was a wash. I would not base any of your decisions off of that game because they don't make any game didn't make any sense.
But are you trying to find someone that you could play in lieu of Sutton and Judy if you had the option?
I mean, I have options, right? It's likely that you do have some that you could start over Sutton. I don't know that I would.
Yeah,
I'm struggling with this right now. If you have Ayuk, given the issues with San Francisco, you might be like, I would probably start Sutton over Ayuk right now, but that's just a personal thing.
Yeah,
I think Duvernay, Jacoby Myers is another guy that you probably could have realistically. I don't think he got drafted.
They have the Monday night game. We're gonna get to them.
Yeah.
Next one up is it's pretty clear who you're gonna play. The Texans travel to Vegas. You're playing Dameon Pierce.
Sure.
That's it.
Burkhead was never a part of that discussion. It was just a matter of time until
Cooks can flex Cooks, and that's just because the quarterback play has been so poor. Sure. That it's just been so hard to watch Cooks just not go above what he can do, and it's frustrating because Mills has regressed this year big time.
No, it's what I was talking about with Lawrence and with Washington and the Bears. Any success has come from, which is why I love that the Giants are 5-1 because they've broken. It makes the argument that they're not a bad team because the true bad teams are just getting blown out again. They've gone back to exactly who they were last season, which is a punching bag for whoever they're playing.
Does that make Vegas a bad team?
Vegas is a bad team this year. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not doing. They're
great.
All of their losses
football.
are close, man. All of their losses are close.
Yes, but it also comes from bad football. Like Kansas City was having a hard time against them. Not like Kansas City has their own issues that they're dealing with right now.
Yeah.
That game should not have been near as close as it was.
No.
Two big passes that went where they were 50-50 balls to Tay, and easily could have not gone the other way. Like that's the only reason it was even close in that game. And they've had miserable games.
Waller's out. Jacobs is in. Jacobs has been an awesome player to have this year.
The Raiders are not Jacobs, though.
No.
In fact, I can't wait for him to leave.
Yeah. No, it's good to see Jacobs revive, but that's the only two you're playing is Adams and Jacobs and Carr if you have a dude on a bye.
Or if you have a super flex league, you could start Carr.
Yeah.
It'd be okay. Yeah. But, I wouldn't start anyone else there. Bolden is such a bolo, dude. I love that Bolin. Is it Bolins? What the fuck is his name? This backup running back to Jacob.
Zamir White from
no.
Bolden,
and then Hollins, the dude that was supposed to take over for fucking Renfro. Yeah. Just both put up fucking zeros.
No. My next question so Brian, I'm going to feature you on the night game, which is Pittsburgh in Miami. But before we get to that, Ray's All-Star Eckler takes on Seattle.
Oh boy.
I have even though Brian and I did a little trade for Keenan Allen, I'm not playing Keenan even if he's cleared. No fucking way.
I think you give it a week.
You give it a week. They have a bye next week.
I just gave T. Higgins a week. I know he did have a 10-point game. That's good, but I think
he had the targets too, though.
He did.
He dropped two. It's
just I think now after he's got back motion, he's got more practice. He's in the rhythm of the offense.
Yeah. Obviously, Ray, you have zero concerns about Eckler in Seattle. Or I'm sorry, it's vice versa. They're in L.A. My bad.
Oh, in L.A. Oh yeah, they'd be all right.
I'm not concerned.
I'm never concerned about I was only concerned about my concern with Eckler was never Eckler himself at the start of the season. It was the Chargers play calling made no goddamn sense.
So on that, I think one of the bigger things that was a little more surprising this year is just how poor Herbert's play has been. It has been poor, man.
It's been for sure.
I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, that hit.
I don't know.
I think, and this is the thing. It's that week where he got really hurt, and Eckler put up his first 18-point game.
Monster game.
Yeah, it wasn't a monster game. It was garbage time. He had 6 grabs in garbage time.
It was week 2 or 3. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so that's where Herbert fractured his fucking ribs. And listen, he's playing on painkillers. He's playing on painkillers right now.
Absolutely messed up.
If you in an interview, if they say, "Are you on painkilling? Are you taking painkilling shots before the game?" and he says, "I'm going to keep that private," that's yes. That means yes.
Yeah.
And I mean no disrespect to Herbert. You got to do what you got to do.
I don't give a shit.
And I'm also anti-press, so that dude to follow up that with is that a yes or no? Suck my dick. That's what it means.
Yeah,
but he's clearly it's yes. It means yes. Be quiet and move on.
Yes.
He's playing poorly because he's in pain.
Yes.
So Brian,
yes, sir.
I think that fact means like the guy who's playing on the other side of the ball. I'm definitely playing Geno over Herbert right now. But Brian, I want to ask you, Geno or Prescott?
Great question. Because on the side, I just acquired him with the trade with you.
Who? Oh, Dak.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. These.
Dak and Pickens for Keenan Allen was the trade.
I would like.
Right, I did see that.
That's honestly a game time decisions. I've been thinking about this.
Who's Dallas playing again?
This week.
Dallas is going to Detroit.
I'm playing Dak Prescott.
I think I'm going Dak.
The Lions don't have a fucking defense.
No.
You're right. They don't. I think Dak's gonna have a little bit more better success with that.
And it's at home for Dak.
Yeah, so that's not a really big deal. Although Geno has
I'll play Geno. Don't get me wrong.
Geno's done terrific.
But this particular question, yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna go with Dak.
Okay. If you guys had to, none of us here are on the DK piss baby wagon, so none of us will have the option of playing him. I would play him. Yes, I'll play him.
Over who?
But
no, because it goes back to that thing with like Sutton or
you know what? That's a good analogy.
It's like the reason I start Sutton is because I like Sutton. I want to watch him play. I'm not starting fucking DK Metcalf. He's not a safe start. I don't want to watch him fucking play. I don't like
Lockett's not a safe start. Never has. Couldn't tell me he is. Yeah, don't lie.
If those dudes were safe starts, then I would start them. The only reason you're starting DK Metcalf, and that's just my opinion, is because you like him. There's not really. There's no way you're going to tell me that there's no other receivers available to you that you couldn't start over that dude. I don't believe it. Not for a second.
The only other person that I'm comfortable in playing is Ray.
Kenneth Walker.
You and I have talked about rookies for a long time.
Speaking of that,
Kenneth is a plug and let it go. Move on with your life. Don't even look back.
Do you think Kenneth Walker is a good? Is he going to fulfill that role as like that number 100%, one back?
Already has.
I don't understand it. I mean, I said before his first start, I was like, "There's no way this dude's going to play well." Seattle does not give a shit about running, and then he put up like 15 points, and I'm just wondering. I'm like, I know Rashad Penny's not bad, so what the fuck was going on with their play calling before? Why were they not running the ball?
Now, what I will say too, though, like there's a whole different level of metrics for Kenneth than Penny, right? So Kenneth was this close to being a Heisman as a running back in an excellent draft year. It's not just the speed, Ray; it's the size. It's too big and being that fast, and he's a very difficult person to tackle.
He's like
the only
Leonard
other
Fournette.
thing. Yes, the other, but unlike Fournette and unlike Penny, Walker has no involvement in the passing game yet. If that comes in time, that's top 5-10 running back.
He has outscored that 28-point game that Rashad Penny put up before he exited the season. That was a fluke. We all knew that wasn't going to happen again because because Pete Carroll's fucking offense right now is not involved in rushing. But then Kenneth Walker comes in and now he's putting up 15 points every week, and it's like, where was this when Penny was in?
And now Seattle's more balanced, and they're harder to beat, and they're winning games.
I do not understand what's going on over there in Seattle. I still agree that their play calling is shit. I said that when Rashad put up that 28-point game. He made that game. He made those 28 points. He broke away and got those points. I still think that Kenneth Walker is being limited by – it doesn't make sense because Geno's playing really well. So it's not like I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. They should be running more, in my opinion. But
one thing I think will make more sense to you, Ray, and this is like, I know we're going a little bit later, but we hadn't had our show in a minute. I don't care. We're going to let it ride. We've got 2 more games to go on about. Because I have seen it every weekend until fucking Mariota, some fucking reason. Kansas City goes to San Francisco.
Yep.
Joey Bosa is back in the lineup.
Wow.
If you think that anyone who has him is comfortably playing Juju after one okay game,
no, I wouldn't.
You're wrong.
He's still a bench rider for me.
He's still
Juju
bench rider.
Could definitely be an explosive player, but that doesn't like.
That's a great defense in San Francisco, man.
That's not going to happen week to week.
Okay, Jim and I got into a heated discussion over Juju.
I wasn't heated. I was giving him shit because I knew he was happy. That's all.
No, he was.
He was riding high because it was a good win.
Yeah. Well, that's how it is with us, right? Like Jim was trying to pretend that Buffalo's defense is bad, and that's fine. I understand because all of your teams suck, so you got to kind of cope with that.
And they gave up 120 yards to Juju and a touchdown.
This is what he tries to pretend that Juju like had a good game. If any of you watched that game, he did not have a good game. That was both those touchdowns he had were
60.
non-existent. Zero effort into those plays. I could have scored those touchdowns. It's unreal. And then Juju's gone. It's like you didn't even jump, dude. Embarrassing. They were embarrassing plays by the safeties.
I want to start with Brian's side of the house on this before we go over to the San Francisco disaster train. Brian, yes. CEH, are you playing him?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely not.
You're dumb.
No, not in San Francisco.
I don't want to play him at all. I'm this close to just gone. He's dropped. I don't need him no more because
you need him. Your team sucks. Your team sucks.
Damn. Oh, wow.
Wow. Like this is the thing that was great. He was great for the first, 4 weeks.
4 games. Yeah.
Perfect. Solid.
Yeah.
Well, and then last 2 weeks.
What did you expect them to do against Buffalo? You expected them to run against Buffalo?
No.
Have you ever heard of Von Miller?
Buffalo he's talking about, though.
No, I'm not. That's what I'm saying.
Buffalo he's talking about.
Well, let's look at the stats real quick.
I'm looking around right now.
While you guys pull it up,
I want
to ask you our final Twitter question.
Okay.
If you had to pick a Kansas receiver, who are you picking?
A Kansas receiver? Travis Kelce. He's a receiver.
I think they mean MVS or Juju or Sky Moore.
Anyone who is pretending that there's a receiver on that team besides Travis Kelce is an idiot.
Well, but if you had to pick one now.
I'm not picking either of them. I will start Hunter Renfrow.
I told Brian the same thing I'm telling you, Ray. I didn't say you would like the options. I said you had to make a choice.
You had to pick them.
Okay, ask me who would you start, Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf? I would go to the waiver wire and pick up the highest projected. I'm not answering the question. I have other people that I would start over them. There's never going to be a situation.
If I have to pick MVS or Juju, I'm going Juju. It's not great. I'm just going to do it because MVS to me is almost an irrelevant
Pick him for what?
Player.
To start? I don't believe that you don't have anyone better than those two to start.
Oh, no, I do. But what I'm saying is, if someone who doesn't.
How?
Right,
what are you in a 32-man league? You don't have anyone better than Juju
Have you seen Carson's team?
That Carson's an idiot, and he listens to Brock too much.
Yeah, he does. Yes. But we love you, Carson. It's just
they're not gonna, he's not going to watch the show, and neither is Brock.
No.
Their fucking problems are their own.
While you guys are doing your CEH research real quick, on the other side of the ball, you still play Jeff Wilson. You still flex with Wilson. Before CMC, Wilson was an RB2. He was. He had a bad game at Atlanta. I got you. We all have him, right? But he was an RB2 consistently. You're playing Kittle. You're just going to have to fucking deal with it. You're obviously playing Debo. Ayuk is definitely in that range that you and I talked about it, Ray. Like, if you needed a dart throw, I understand he had a great game 2 weekends ago or last week.
Last week.
Was it last week?
Yeah.
My bad.
Great game.
Yeah, he had a great game, right? But the reality is that's on 5 targets and 5 catches for him for 2 touchdowns, which is great. Not a lot of volume.
The yardage is good, though, in those games.
Yes,
I think it's the fact that he didn't
get
touchdowns.
It is. Target share is going to be.
You take away those touchdowns, though, it's still like a high. It's close to 20
10 to 12 points.
No, you're wrong.
No, it's more than that. It's 12 points if you take away the touchdowns. He scored 28. So
that's what I'm saying.
A 16-point game is solid.
Oh, I see. Okay,
for sure.
That is a solid game.
No, I'm not taking a risk on any random player on San Francisco. If you haven't heard their name so far in the season, no, you're not playing them. No, at all.
I think that's fair.
CNC, I think anyone who's played fantasy knows that, no, you don't play a dude who's been there 3 days. No.
Yeah, I think you wait a week.
Yeah. I mean, if you drafted CMC where most people drafted him, I guess you do it, but you don't have expectations.
Okay, you're starting CMC because you are an idiot and you drafted him in the first round.
In the first round. It's going to be high.
It's not up to you. You have to start him. I know you don't have anyone better to throw in there.
But if you're expecting 25 points, you better
hope that his plays work out because all it's going to take is 3 busted plays by him, and they're going to revert back to what they were doing before.
What I said to a buddy earlier when we were talking about it in the skip, I was like, what you're hoping is that CMC didn't hurt his hamstring on the flight over. Let's start there. And he thought I was being mean as shit.
It's a long flight from Carolina to
that's like 6 hours,
coast to coast. It's farther than that. Carolina to San Francisco is like an 8-hour flight.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Listen, he could pull it. It's CMC. The dude is injury prone.
Was he hydrating? I don't know.
Probably not. So here's a concern, a genuine concern about him starting though, is the way that they run. Their running backs are injury prone.
Yes.
And so you have an early injury. I don't want to say injury prone, but heavily injured running back.
Mm-hmm.
In an offense where they might overuse him. Or with the way they run their plays, he might take a bad hit. But again, I think most likely the thing that's going to happen this weekend is they're going to test the waters. And unless it really works out, like his plays are really clicking, you're not going to see him in a whole lot of snaps.
Let me ask you this, Ray. When you see a team like that do a move like that, to me, one of the things that I immediately think of is Mitchell's far more hurt than they told us. Mitchell is far more hurt than they told us. Because if you do that, you're not expecting him back this year.
No.
Because if you are, what are you going to do with your all-star running back behind the all-star running back?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just, you can't hold both.
How long
right?
is CMC there for? What is it? Just the remainder of his? Did they just buy out his contract?
Yeah, they just took his contract. Yeah, they just ate the contract. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But we won't know until we see what happens, guys. That's just the reality of that offense. And it's super, super hard to predict. But we're going to finish up with the Sunday night and Monday night football games. Sunday night, Pittsburgh goes to Miami.
Yes, sir.
Pickett has been cleared and is the starter.
Yes. Same with Priormuth.
Anytime.
I'm playing Pickens and I'm playing Deontay. I am.
Oh, yeah.
I am.
I'm starting Priormuth in mine.
They're both
for sure. For sure.
I got – oh, okay.
What do you say?
I said they're flexes. Yeah. They're not
I'm not saying RB1s. Yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm playing Najee because I probably had to draft him pretty high.
I think that's
or
fair.
You're lucky like Brian.
Yeah. Only in our league are you able to start him in like a flex because some dickhead in your league cut Najee because he just wasn't working out.
Started World War III on our fantasy rosters.
I loved it. I was like, what the fuck y'all talking about?
But I was super happy when Brian got him. I was because I knew he was a big Steelers fan, so I was super happy about that. I'm
also
playing
because your team sucks.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Anywho, I would take Pitt on that one though.
I'm playing. I think Miami's in a must-win.
I would. I think it's because it's a night game. It's gonna be cooler.
Tua's getting back.
Cool. Tua's coming back.
Tua's gonna get fucking planted in the dirt and end up going to the hospital.
I mean, I'm on your side of that. Jim does not agree.
I don't agree.
Jim thinks he's perfectly healthy. There's nothing wrong with him.
Hey,
Zero consequences being slammed to the ground 2 weeks in a row.
Like multiple weeks.
Less than 4 days apart.
Well, you know what else is funny, Ray, that I say that? When I was watching the Bills and Chiefs game, I saw Kelsey actually take a hard fucking spill.
Yeah,
no one said a fucking thing. No one even pulled him over. No one did anything. I was like, that is as big a hit as I've seen any other dude just pulled from the game.
Yes, but he got up on his own.
But he took a minute. He was like,
he did.
Fuck.
No, he was hurt. There's no disagreeing.
I'm just saying, I don't like that.
Everybody thought he was okay.
But
that was plenty enough for other people to be pulled and inspected.
Yes, I agree. But it's different when they can get up on their own. He popped up. I know it took him a second, but he did pop up. And we saw him. He was a little leany. I know that hurt. And I think that what hurt more for Kelsey, though, was their loss. So, he just was like, I'm not, willpower. Most other people would have been pulled. I agree with you. But most other people would have stayed down a little bit longer. And I don't know.
Here is my one thing, Brian, and we just are not being honest about one thing, and that is KZ still on injured reserve for the Steelers. Pierre still out. Fitzpatrick just got clearance, but dinged up.
He is a little bit dinged, yeah.
Witherspoon out, and then Sims is irrelevant. I don't give a fuck.
You guys don't have a defense. Jesus Christ.
But the defense has been – look, man, they're hurt.
We're a little
and you got Waddle and Hill.
I'm hoping Wallace is coming back, though.
I think, yeah.
I think
which is good for y'all.
We'll be okay. I think we're starting to mesh a little bit better now.
If the defensive line can't put pressure and you give Waddle and Hill time, there's no fucking way Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Waddle and Hill are both going to ice
no
Wallace.
Fucking way.
Wallace played really well for us. They're just dominant receivers.
Too much, man.
I think Pittsburgh got their work cut out for them
for sure.
I don't think it's a blowout.
Okay, what it's going to come down to on whether or not it's a blowout is how recovered Tua is. Tua has a relationship with Waddle. We know that he can dime him out pretty much at any time in the game. Him and Hill, there's issues there because their skill levels and repertoire are not quite on par. But Hill's an incredible receiver. I think that both those dudes can moss Levi Wallace, and in my opinion, Levi Wallace is your best defender right now.
Are you playing any Miami running back?
Mostert is. They've made it clear that he's part of the game plan. I don't know what's going on with Chase Edmonds. I don't know what happened.
Chase Edmonds.
I don't think he's.
No, Chase Edmonds was a good.
How are you going to tell me that Gaskin can pass you up on a depth chart and say you're playing good football?
All I'm saying is maybe he's injured and they're just not being honest about it.
I'll give you that. You don't know that part.
You're not going to tell me that Gaskin is better than Edmonds. You're not.
No, and I'm also not going to tell you that you're not playing Gesicki. You're not doing it. Don't do it. That's dumb.
Yeah, I don't.
Tua doesn't throw to tight ends. Never has.
Well, he does.
He will throw up.
When Gesicki is literally standing by himself in the end zone.
Well, that's true too.
His 2 touchdowns that he had were both like that he stole from Waddle. Like open. Nobody's near this dude. He's literally was standing there. He's like he did this, and then when Tua was like, "Oh yeah, obviously there's no one between me and you. I could have handed you the ball." My
earlier statements in the past couple of weeks about they're going to do everything they can to protect Tua, and that means tight ends will have to fucking block. And guess who doesn't block? Gesicki. He's not a blocker. He's not a blocker, right? So you're going to see their beefy boys that their one job is to block. They don't go out for passes. Haven't caught a pass in years, right? Their one job is to block, right? Which also may benefit Mostert more, right? Them not having to drop back 55 times in a fucking game would also protect Tua. So you have a myriad of ways of protecting him. That's running and it's blocking. That's truly it. It's not hard. Well, it's hard, but it's not complex. You don't need to make it a huge high-speed offensive maneuver. Okay, last game, and then we'll bounce. Chicago goes to New England. New England is going to beat them like a redheaded stepchild in Foxborough on Monday night.
What?
Full stop. Justin Fields is going to get crushed. That defense is awesome.
Back, or is it still the
Jones is back and starting?
Back.
Oh,
see,
Damian Harris is almost cleared to play.
Explain to me why. Is Carson Wentz better than Mac Jones?
No.
To either of you? You don't think so? You think Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Carson Wentz?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
decisively.
Crazy. And I fucking hate Carson Wentz. I don't know that I would say that Mac Jones is a better quarterback.
I would say this though too. I would say it's a little bit harder to gauge because I think Mac Jones is in a much better situation organizationally.
Yeah, his system is better and his organization is less toxic. For sure.
His running backs are good. His tight ends are excellent. Hunter Henry and Johnny Smith are excellent tight ends. Not good for fantasy, but excellent blockers and catchers and what they need to do. Yeah, right. So their receiving core is garbage.
I said that during their game last week. I was like, damn, I wish one of those dudes would leave because both of their fantasy values.
Whoever was left would be good. Yeah.
I don't mind Jacoby Myers as a receiver, though.
I'm playing Jacoby, and I'm
probably starting Jacoby this week. I know I shit on Jacoby in this show, but and I don't. Maybe his fantasy value goes away with Mac Jones because I know last year with Mac Jones, he was terrible. He was not. He did not have consistent weeks.
I would like to see the relationship and how Devontae Parker, Jacoby Myers, and Mac Jones share a field because it looked like Mac Jones was favoring Parker by a lot. And right before Mac Jones got hurt, Parker went for like 160 yards receiving. No touchdowns, but still 20 fucking point game, right? So if that stays that way, sure.
Pull it up.
What Bears would I be willing to play? Who? Okay, who?
None. I said this in the Washington game. No.
Monty?
No.
Baby?
No.
The level you drafted Monty, I don't know that you have a lot of other spare backups.
If you drafted Monty anywhere before the 5th, you deserve to lose the league. You should be kicked out.
It's probably around that time. It's probably around that frame, right?
No, do not start there. When we watched that Washington-Chicago game, I said neither of these teams are startable, and I still mean that. No. Now with Heineke coming back, it's a little bit different because I know who he favors.
We'll have to reassess.
Yeah. Well, I just know that him and McLaurin have they played together long enough. There's a link there, so it's a little bit different. So there's a change in that system. There's been no change in Chicago. They're still the same shitty system they were last week.
And the amount that Fields got hit last game was just – it seemed like every fucking play, dude. Every fucking play was getting
tapped.
Cole Kmet, no. Fuck no. Fuck no.
What's crazy is
Darnell Mooney?
The Bears tight – no. No one from Chicago is startable. If you have to start them, I feel sorry for you. You're going to lose.
Sorry, dog. It's going to be a rough weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. No. What's crazy about Cole Kmet not being good is I know that the Chicago's tight end, whoever it was last year, fuck me, I can't remember his name. I haven't given him a thought since the start of the season. I don't think it was Jimmy Graham. Maybe it was.
Graham was there, I think.
Somebody balled out for them at the end as a tight end. Like they just were getting a lot
Cole Kmet. No, it was Cole Kmet. He had a great end of the season.
Okay.
Yeah,
there you go.
Great end of the season. Yes.
Yeah. No, don't start anybody.
Yeah.
My rule that I used to say about the Lions has now transferred to Chicago. Do not, because the Lions, Jared Goff has clearly improved since last season, and he gets the ball to people. Right? That was not the case. That's still not the case in Chicago. He doesn't get the ball to anyone. The running backs, I don't know if it's if it's injuries or if it's play calling. They're just not. I think it's play calling last week because there were a lot of plays where I'm like, Montgomery should have the ball right now. I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
So I know what they were trying to do. What they were trying to do is actually throw the ball 20 times at least. And it's been less than 20 attempts the past whatever fucking games they've been in.
Golly.
Darnell Mooney has now in 2 straight weeks made catches that are otherworldly, insane catches. The problem is that was one of his 5 fucking targets all game. If he goes for all 5, he has yet to find the end zone. Fields has yet to throw a passing touchdown to his top receiver.
Yeah.
No.
Holy shit! Yeah, Jim, you're not joking. Their highest they've ever thrown that ball was 27 times.
Yeah, I told you. That was last weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was last weekend. Yeah. So their whole thing was like, we've got a quarterback.
They went to Washington.
Yeah.
That's like, the Bears, the Chicago.
Sorry.
It's still
Bears,
a valid statement. That's not what you meant.
When Hurts first took over in Philly, that's what it looks like. When he first took over, all he could really do was run and maybe get a couple passes. Maybe.
Yeah, no, that is such a good comparison. Because that's what they looked like last year. Except, they won games. Like, they eked in the playoffs. But, no, for sure, the first year that Hurts was there, it was like...
Looks like Fields now.
This is a mess.
Nothing around him's good. They're going to have to make some major moves.
I don't know. It kills me that Fields has a job. And I don't mean that against him. It's just Chicago was so bad.
To me, Zach Wilson is the one that shocks me that he's still employed. That's the one.
Yeah, because he literally doesn't throw at all. Like, they win. Point, man? They win because of their running. Like, they're rushing.
What happens when that doesn't work? I have no fucking idea. But
you're going to win. You're going to lose.
Fucking L. It's a loss.
Fucking L. Yeah. So, all right, my gentlemen, we have 4 of our really good teams on bye this weekend. Don't go crazy.
This is the worst week in football. Any week we're busting out a bye is a garbage time.
Jeff's not here this weekend, so I'm missing him already. No Cooper Kupp, no Jazzy Jeff, no AJ Brown, no Devonta Smith, no Diggs, no Davis, no Knox. There's a lot going on. Next week when we come back, Ray, I think we're going to go into a deep dive into Buffalo's backfield because they just made another acquisition. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not.
Blackshear. They acquired another running back, a rookie off the practice squad from another member.
They elevated him.
And he had like one of the fastest 40s, but Blackshear actually did a couple
I'm about
Blackshear.
I don't know how I didn't get that. I don't know. That's weird.
I mean,
maybe too much
it's
cyberpunk,
kind of a weird
I guess.
Under
I
the
don't know.
table.
I don't know how I missed that. Did that happen today?
Yeah, 2 days ago. Yesterday.
I don't know. I did just get back. Was it Wednesday night? I got back at 1 a.m. I was kind of fucking foggy yesterday, so maybe
that's right. You were.
That's all right.
We're just gonna watch it.
That's fair.
All right.
Really, they elevated Blackshear and not Duke Johnson. Yeah. I fucking hate Buffalo. You guys pissed me
off.
Fuck you,
a big part of that. A big part of that was Blackshear's ability to return the football.
I don't give a fuck, dude. Duke Johnson is a stellar fucking player.
Get rid of Zach
he deserves to have a start. I hate it. I want Blackshear and Duke Johnson both to start. Disrespect against Duke Johnson is infuriating.
I think you're dipping your cookie in too many milks here.
Nice.
I think you got the giant high. I'm talking about you have a high-powered offense, a solid defense.
Yeah, but you don't have a good running back. So
that's not good enough for you?
No, it's not. It's not that. Okay. It's that I love Duke Johnson as a player, and I know how good he is, and he's been disrespected by teams, and I'm not okay with my team being one of those teams disrespecting him.
The main team is disrespecting him.
Nothing against James Cook, but I have not seen and did not see in the preseason anything that says that he should start over Blackshear. You know why he's starting and Blackshear isn't? Because we drafted James Cook earlier. That's why.
Second round. That's why.
I don't give it's nothing personal against Cook. But as far as I'm concerned, Blackshear's just as good. And I know goddamn well Duke Johnson is better than James Cook. I've seen Duke Johnson play. I know for a fact he is. because he's played in shittier systems and played better. So it's
Miami.
infuriating to me that someone as talented as Duke Johnson is starting behind Zach fucking Moss.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not.
And
good
it's not
enough.
even close in their eyes. Not even close.
It's not.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously we got our full fantasy vibes out. I know we're a little bit long today, but we will be back next week, and we're starting to get super important time for playoff placement for fantasy football rosters, and we are in the heart of bye week season.
We're getting there.
Man, whoever's playing me week 9, I believe it's you, Ray. Yeah, that's a W. That's a W, dog. I've got no one. I've got no one in there, man. Saquon's gone. Fucking Jonathan Taylor's gone. Pittman's gone. Lamb is gone.
It comes to find out that my actual strength is literally strength of schedule, the thing that we kind of talk shit about. Because this week as well, I'm out Hurts, but it's that's pretty much it. He's the only player. So while everyone else has star players that are out, none of my star players are all out at the same time. I don't think at a single point in the year.
I have Darren this weekend. I've got Jazzy Jeff, and he has Dalvin Cook out. I was like, okay, that's a little bit more.
Yeah,
even,
that's a bit.
The guy I'm playing in my buy-in league has Kupp and Jefferson both out.
Oh,
yeah, he's the top. He's the number 1 seeded player in our buy-in league, and I have a very solid chance of beating him.
Yeah, not after this week.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So I think that's all from us this weekend. We will be back next weekend to get into some more strategizing around bye weeks. Don't go fucking crazy. Don't cut players for defenses.
Just take the L, honestly.
Yeah.
But we will catch y'all next weekend. Appreciate y'all joining us.
Good stuff.
Peace out.